project presentation. In order to make our presentations go smoothly, please turn off your cell phone or switch it to vibration mode. Thank you.
Now, it's our pleasure to welcome our chairman, Professor Dong Xinzhen, to make the opening address.
Afternoon, judges and students, and today is your time for your paper presentation. And totally, we have 8 groups. I mean that maybe we have 9 groups for your presentation, including 1 group for their graduation performance presentation. And today, I think that we have 8 groups for their presentation covering various ranges of topics. And since we have a tight schedule, so let's begin our paper presentation soon.
Speech. 因为今天麦克风够，所以我们会传给上台的报告的人，然后报告结束再递给司仪。谢谢。
Our presentation is about to begin. Prior to the presentations, we will remind you the following rules for time management. Each group has 12 minutes for presentation. We will ring the bell twice. First at the 11th for the last minutes reminding. And by the second bell, at the 12th minute, the speakers need to end the presentation in 20 seconds.
Now, let's welcome Group 1 for presentation. The topic is the career plan of freshmen and junior students in Jiangnan University.
Good afternoon, everyone. We are Group 1. I'm Rachel. They are my group members, Lessa and Ruby. Now we are going to talk about our project, the career of Jiangnan University student applying in foreign languages. Our advisor is David Lee. Later, we will introduce our introduction, methodology, literature, findings, reference, and appendix. First, our introduction. Our motivation is to feature the correlation between the major and options for the future plan of students applying in foreign languages. And second, our purpose is to figure out the different consequences of the student, and according to our motivation, we are supposed to explore the various thoughts of the future plan. And third, basically we have 3 main questions of our research. The first one is, why do English majors select the Department of Applied Foreign Languages as their advanced study? And the second one is, are the course modules closely related to English majors' career management? And the third one is, are English majors particularly interested in the overseas workplaces or schooling as their priority after graduation? And fourth, we use the questionnaire to do our survey. About the subject, the freshman and sophomore our STEM is 31, and the junior and senior are 43 and 47. The fifth, here will come Ruby to introduce our literature and data analysis. Literature. Which can the abstract of this dissertation is very similar to the situation in our department. Mr. Liu, the purpose of our study is to understand the career planning of Jiangnan Foreign Language Department. Ms. Xue, as a result of the questionnaire, we can determine whether the choice of continuing education or employment depends on personality. Mr. Liu, the partner is similar to our discussion of the topic. It is equally worthwhile to pick a candidate with strong employment and reference better, and we can refer their suggestions. Data analysis. Beginning in grade 1, it's in the data the interest is high as rest of their motivation. Due to the financial crisis in 2007, the year the senior just grew up at 10, were expected to learn more techniques and skills to get a better welfare and stable work in the future by their families. Therefore, they would prefer to choose the business information module somehow. The juniors in grade 2, which counts as about 37%, the highest ratio in choosing education module, meeting the ratio to the grade 6, which counts as 100%. And through this investigation in grade 3 and 4, we found that most of students prefer to take office after graduation. The ratio in these two are very high. Now we jump to the grade 7. It shows the main reason for majoring in applied foreigner are having pension interest. The other is that's most important, because it's as the question for that is prepared to prepare for the work. Then we jump back to the grade 4. As through this the consequence grade 4, we can see the job selections the student chose in grade 11. The highest ratio in the freshman is to be a flight attendant. His doctorate is to do marketing planning specialist. The junior is to be an after-school tutor. The senior is to be an administrative support. All grade selections are corresponding to the grade 2. Which motivation of majoring in the module? The student chose. She will come to the left side to choose introduce grade school.
And now let's jump back to the graph again. According to this graph, we found that they prefer to take office in Taiwan in graph 5. The other ratio, pursuing a further study, though it's lower, shows the preference to stay in Taiwan as well. And jump to the graph 12. Why did they prefer to take office in Taiwan? Following this graph, we will figure it out clearly. The highest is the functions were more convenient in Taiwan than overseas. And due to the Chinese traditional views, people were taught to take care of their parents after they had grown up. So the ratio of convenient look after their families are only lower than the ratio of convenient functions in Taiwan. And let's take a look at the others choosing to do the further study at Taiwan. Let's jump to the graph 8. As there were very less people chose to do the further study, though the results are less than others. As you can see, the results are as the same as the results in taking office in Taiwan. The highest is their family economic crisis, and then is to conveniently look after their families. And the exceptional one at the junior, we found the basis is his or her patriotism. And how about the reason for them preferring to do that job? Let's jump to the graph 10. You can see the highest is nothing else than the salary. It meets to the graph 13, that the highest at the salary and perspectives. But we also found the ratio of self-professional and interest are meeting to the graph 1, that the highest is the interest as well. And again, the most important of all, it meets to our choice to major in applied foreign languages. And let's take a look at the others choosing to do the further study at overseas. In graph 9, Most of them are related to the results at further study, to broaden their horizon, to enhance their competitiveness and perspectives. And the exceptional one at the sophomore, we found the basis is his or her patriotism. Above all, you can find out that our results are totally related to the purpose. And here's our reference, our appendix, and the questionnaire. And this is the picture that people chose to apply the foreign languages can do in the future. Thanks for listening.
Okay, let's welcome group 2 for presentation. The topic is the challenges and rewards experienced by foreigners with their own businesses in Taiwan.
Good afternoon, teacher and classmates. Thank you all for being here. My name is Tim, and my teammates are Jim, Jason, James, and Annie. The topic of our presentation is the challenge and reward experienced by foreigners with their own business in Taiwan. Some foreigners leave their home country and start a business in Taiwan. In this project, we want to understand why they want to start a business in Taiwan and what problems they have encountered. This is our content. First, we will introduce research method. Second, we will explain research question. Third, we will tell you about research method. Next, we will present our finding in 3 sessions. And finally, we will show our conclusion. In recent years, many foreigners has opened cram school, restaurant, and other business in Taiwan. Our motivation was to we want to know whether these foreign boss people feel running a business in Taiwan has been worth the effort, and if so, why? And therefore, we make 3 questions.
There are some our research questions. First, why did this foreigner want to open a business in Taiwan? They always say people here are very kind and want to share their country food or art in Taiwan. Second, what problems have they experienced running their business? They said in the beginning it is very difficult because of the language problems and some competition. And some low problem is different from their home country. Okay, the third question is, do they feel running a business in Taiwan has been worth it? They say yes. They say the same reason is they love Taiwan and they feel proud of running business in Taiwan. Okay, the next is research methods. The first is use internet to find restaurant. We just tap China foreigner restaurant. It will come up many research results. The second is before the visit, send a mailbox to revision. Why we to use mail before we go? Because this is counters to them and we can know their free time. The third is interview on site, because we can see the emotion and if they has a situation, we can solve it very quick. The next is record interview audio and the video recording. Because we can show everyone the accent from different countries and the picture we take can let everyone know what different between the Taiwanese score and the foreign score. Next is transcribe recordings. We want to show what question we ask and their response. So we record the sound. Next is annoying content related to research question. We want to let everybody know what question we ask. Next is draw conclusion and prepare report. This is the last we need to do. That we can show everyone our report. Next is some interview comments. The first is motivation and goals. The second is problem and difficulties. And the third is satisfaction level. Next, we want to introduce the joint pizza.
Now, I want to introduce a restaurant called Big John Pizza. It's located next to Bakari Park in Tainan City. It's open from 4:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Friday, and 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. This restaurant is owned by a British person named John. First, we asked him why he wants to open a business in Taiwan. Open a restaurant in Taiwan. He said he used to be a teacher in Britain. However, he didn't like students, so he came to Taiwan. Besides, his wife liked delicious food very much. And he also loved to study cooking, so he decided to run a business in Taiwan. Next, we asked him if he had faced any problem in his business. He said he need to change the flavor of his product to suit Taiwanese taste. People have different dietary habits in Taiwan, so he needs to adjust his pizza to match our local flavor. He feels that customer satisfaction is very important to him, so he wants to make pizzas that people like. We asked him if he felt running his own business was worth it. He said Taiwan is a country with warm hospitality. When he sees how customers are very polite and enjoy his meals, he feels satisfied and happy.
Next, I will introduce the statistics campaign. There is local as West Country District, Tainan City. Strategic night bed is not luxury, so they are always fully booked on weekend. And there is open a kitchen. Strategic food a variety of different food, such as Greek, Mexican, and vegetarian food. The owners are Australian man and a Taiwanese wife. My deepest impression during visit was that she said she wanted to bring the spirit of the Australian to Taiwan. First, we asked her why they want to go to the Taiwan open a restaurant. She said she liked Taiwan. She went to live in and stay in Taiwan. But she said in Taiwan it's very hard to find a job. It is a suitable professional job. And also it is much salary. Finally, we talk about the problem of finding the suitable employee. She said they want people to feel as they are not someone home, so they need an employee who know what they are doing, are willing to learn, and also not afraid to ask what they are doing. And she thinks it's important to find people who like to work together and part of this team.
Now I would like to introduce the third restaurant. This restaurant name is Termakasi. Its location is at West Central District, Tainan City. This restaurant is located at West Central. It will mention that the owner of this popular restaurant is very friendly. When we send a letter asking to interview her, she responded quickly, and when we visited, she was very warm-hearted. First, we asked her about herself. She is from Malaysia, but she studied in Thailand before. She loved this place and decided to settle here. After that, we asked the owner why she chose to open restaurant in Thailand and what's the goal of her restaurant is. She said she feel that there was not much Malaysia food in Thailand. She said. Therefore, the owner and her partner decided to do all the work in their restaurant by themselves.
To send out, when learning important thing is doing a job, is teamwork. Everyone has to be serious to about finish their summer growth. Thank you for your listen.
Let's welcome Group 3 for presentation. The topic is Juveniles' Parents' Responses to the Vocational Education and its Cooperation with Industries.
judges. I'm Jessie.
I'm Jen.
Sherry.
I'm Jeannie.
Our topic is juvenile parents' responses to the vocational education and its cooperation with industries. Let's begin our presentation. This is our table of contents. Introduction. Motivation. This research project focuses on juvenile parents' attitude toward the current vocational educational system and its cooperation with industries. Purpose of research. Taiwan's economic development has strong bearings on technical and vocational education. Yet, quite a lot of juvenile parents prefer the general senior high school educational system for the renowned universities. Ironically, the increasing rate of unemployment and the lack of practical experiences trigger the awareness of the course design in vocational schools. This can be further warranted by cooperation between schools and the industries. This research project targets at juvenile parents' attitude toward the current vocational education in the past 2 years. Research questions. Question 1. Are juvenile parents fully support of the current vocational educational system, particularly its cooperation with the industries? Question 2. Which enrollment channels of vocational system do juvenile parents prefer if the children are intended for the vocational education? Question 3. Are professional certificates and short-term practicum essential for the vocational educational system based on juvenile parents' written responses? Methodology. We utilize the written questionnaire to get parents' responses. During these 2 years, the subjects are mainly from 2 junior high schools, Daqiao Junior High School and Chenggang Junior High Schools. In 2015, we had 260 participants. In 2016, we had nearly 300 participants. Research design. Juvenile parents' attitude toward the vocational educational system are available from their written questionnaire. Totally 11 questionnaire items are designed based on 3 major research questions. All of our questionnaire items are designed based on according to our research questions. Items from question 1 to question 6, question 8, and question 11 are designed based on research question 1. Items question 7 and question 9 are designed based on research question 2. And item 10 is designed based on research question 3.
Present our overall research procedures. We begin with the data collection. Then we use SPSS for our data analysis. Finally, based on the numerical evidence, we outline our findings and conclusion. Limitation of the research. This research project limits the questionnaire respondents to juvenile parents in Greater Tainan City. Emphasis. This research focuses on the parents' attitudes toward the vocational education and industrial cooperation. This is our findings. Gender. In these 2 years, female participants outnumber their male counterparts. Age. Most of the subjects are more than 40 years old. Job types. In 2015, most of the subjects are mainly from the civil servants. Interestingly, in 2016, most of the subjects are from the labor industries. In these 2 years, parents are in support of their children to advance into the vocational schools, especially the one with the industry cooperation. This can be evidenced by the statistically insignificant values in Table A and Table 9. Table 10 shows the reason why parents disagree with academic industry cooperation. Male subjects blame this system for the cheap labors. For female subjects, juveniles fail to work and study at the same time. In 2015, if the academic industry cooperation fully guarantees students' jobs, parents would tend to support their children to advance into the vocational schools. However, in 2016, results are contrary to the previous ones. Most of the juvenile parents disagree with academic industry cooperation, even though their children's jobs are fully guaranteed. In order to understand the extent of the discrepancy of the results, we turn to the statistical analysis for further confirmation.
According to Table 12 and Table 13, there is no statistical significance. Thus, juveniles' parents present a similar attitude toward the Academic Industry Cooperation Program, despite parents in 2016 are not fully supportive of this cooperation program. Interestingly, if the vocational education system brings about the financial profits, most of parents in these 2 years highly support their children to advance into the vocational schools. Now that parents have similar attitude toward this issue, they surely present statistically insignificant values. Regarding the attitude toward the vocational education system, there comes to the inflating results. In other words, parents in 2015 support the vocational schooling. However, the subject in 2016 are less support the current vocational schooling. The results fail to yield statistically insignificance. Now we turn to the subject in support of their children to advance into the vocational schooling. According to Table 24 and Table 25, the main reasons lies in student motivation in the vocational schooling, which stimulates their creativity through the practical courses. Regarding the channels of enrollment, most of parents lay the vocational education system as a priority. Currently, MOE encourages the technical university cooperate with the vocational schools to jointly sponsor a learning camp. Most of parents are strongly interested in this learning camp, encourage their children to join this learning camp immediately after joint entrance examination.
Then we talk about the preferred learning areas for juveniles' parents. Obviously, in 2015, they present the great differences in this issue between male and female subjects. For male subject, their priority is the electrical engineering area, then the foreign language area and the design area. Differently, for female subject, they prefer the foreign language area first, then the hospitality area. This result cannot be applied to the same investigation in the following year. I mean, in 2016, both male and female subjects prefer the foreign language area, then the commerce and the engineering area. Now we turn our focus to the issue of certificate and internship program. Are they important for parents before their children get admitted to the university? According to Table 34, both male and female subjects consented that children have to get professional certificate and internship program before advancing to the ideal university. What differs lies in their attitude. Male subjects tend to place the academic industry cooperation ahead of the professional certificate preparation. In 2016, both male and female subjects agreed that both certificate and internship programs were prerequisites for the academic industry cooperation or the university advancement. Finally, we attempt to investigate parents' attitude toward the current vocational education system. According to Table 36 and Table 37, parents are generally optimistic about the vocational education system if their children are fully guaranteed to have jobs in after graduation. Comparatively, in 2016, parents are more optimistic about the vocational education system, and this produced the statistical significance. Conclusion. First, juveniles' parents have optimistic attitude about the vocational education because students can experience workplace early. Second, in 2015, both male and female subjects prefer the vocational high school educational system. However, in 2016, male subjects prefer the comprehensive high school educational system, while females select the vocational high school educational system. Third, regarding the preferred expertise, the survey male subject prefer the electrical engineering area, while the female select the hospitality area. However, in 2016, both male and female subjects prefer the foreign language area.
Fourth, fathers hope their children can go internship and get license, but mothers hope their children can get license before go internships. And this is our reference. Thank you for your listening.
Next, let's welcome Gufo for presentation. The topic is the study of DAFL students' attitude toward practical training.
Good afternoon, supervisor and students. Our topic is the study of the DAFL students' attitude toward practical training. Our supervisor is Dr. Joanna Wang. I'm Sally. They're my good members. This is our outline.
Background information. There are 46 universities with DAFLs. Among the schools, practical training has 80 schools. Practical as elective courses are 27. Overseas practical training are 26 schools. The policy of DAFL and CNU. CNU has 3 kinds of practical training options. 320 summer practical training, semester overseas practical training, the 8th semester of campus practical training. Motivation. We want to survey the current practical training policy of all the departments of applied foreign languages. We also want to explore the student attitude and preference about the practical training policy at this department.
And this is our purpose of study. We want to investigate the intention of the students of our department toward the practical training program. And we want to investigate students' preferences and the motivation for the practical training options. We also want to explore the reason why some students may show no interest in practical training offered by this department. Method. The instrument we use are questionnaire, survey, and interview. We design our questionnaire to explore the attitude or the preferences of the participant toward the following 3 practical training options. The interview questions focus on the experience of participants who finished their practical training. Participants, there are 151 participants filling out the questionnaire we designed, with 73 as sophomore and 78 as junior student in 105 academic year. And we interviewed 70 participants who have just finished their practical training this year, with 8 of them in the overseas program. Data analysis. Questionnaire data will be analyzed with statistics Excel, and the interview data will be analyzed with things. And this is our data sources. Research questions. Research questions 1. How do DAFL students in CNU feel about the practical training? Why? Research question 2. Besides on the current option offered at school, what type are more popular?
Research question 3. How do the training students receive from this department held in the practical training? What courses are found are more useful in the workplace? Research question 4.
What are the most valuable or unforgettable experience they've acquired from their practical training? Findings.
Findings through research question 1. How do the AFL students in CMU feel about practical training options? Why? According to questionnaire data, there were as many as 89% of participants who feel like going for practical training. Reasons why they feel like going: to increase work experience, to improve their English proficiency, to prepare their future career. Reasons why they don't consider going: not interested in practical training. The practical training didn't match their needs and they already had part-time job. How about practical training with no pay? Look at this program. The students' intention of practical training is low. Research finding to research question 2. Based on the current options offered at school, what types are most popular? The 6 months overseas is most popular. Which foreign language do they prefer to go to? They prefer to go to Australia. Participants prefer to go to Australia because of to improve English proficiency such as listening and speaking, and feel excited about working holiday in Australia. Prepare for the qualification of working overseas and study abroad. Participants prefer to go to Singapore because of feel secure, because Mandarin is also workable in language in Singapore. Feel like experience other foreign languages and not far from Taiwan. Any other countries? Participant suggestion: Japan, UK, USA, and Korea. Findings to research question 3. How do the training students receive from these departments help them in practical training? And what courses are found most useful when used in workplace? Findings to research question: the useful training, English communication, the second foreign languages, presentation, vocabulary and grammar, classroom management, lesson plan, English proficiency and certificate, experience of speaking English with native speaker, communication skills.
And this is useful training from overseas, vocabulary and usage and English conversation. What courses are far more useful when used in the workplaces?
The useful courses: English conversation, journalism English, English testing and assessment, material teaching methods in English in Chinese languages, English vocabulary, listening training, test-based projects, application of computer software.
Useful courses from overseas: basic English conversation, advanced English conversation, and English for tourists. What are the most valuable or unforgettable experiences acquired from their practical training?
Finding to research question 4. The most available experience from summer of campus practical training: more understanding of workplace, communication with other people such as clients, students, and workmates, and to become more confident.
The more valuable experience from overseas: compete with other people from workplace, handle pressure very well, learn some new skill, and learn the independence and arrange my holiday.
Limitation.
The scope of this study was restricted to the response of 151 students in the DAFL in CNU in academic year 105. The finding of study might apply to content of CNU students, but is not generalized college students in Taiwan. We didn't manage to obtain the feedback from those who have been to Australia in critical training. Discussion and conclusion. The DAFL student intention of practical training is high. For the participants who have received practical training, the most popular program is Overseas One, with Australia as more popular than Singapore. Most participants is expected to be paid while do practical training. English oral communication was reported to be much more important than grammar in the workplace of restaurants, especially in Singapore. Most of the participants who accomplished the practical training from OC program is over in the department reports the experience in the beneficial in terms of work experience. This is our questionnaire, and this is our interview question, and the data SPSS. Thank you for your listening.
Let's welcome Group 5 for presentation. The topic is CNU students' attitude for using the iPads.
Good afternoon, professors and students. We are Group 5. Today we are going to tell you our presentation. Our topic is CNU students' attitude for using the iPads. And our members are Kylie, Iris, Joanna, Ruby, and Nina. Our instructor is Nick Lee. And now I'm going to show you our table of contents. This is our table of contents. First, introduction. Second, context. Third, result. And the last one is reference. And now I'm going to tell you our introduction. Next. This is our background. With the progress of science and technology, literacy visualization has become more and more common. I think this is not only the phenomenon of progress, but also it reduces the probability that people lost their money or their personal information could be stolen by thieves. Paying by card is becoming a common phenomenon. It can reduce the losses caused by counterfeit money. CNU also added equipment for students to use the iPads to consume at a student restaurant. Therefore, our purpose is to understand what is the CNU students' attitude for using the iPads. Next. This is our motivation. In this project, we will understand the using of the iPads is really common in the school, and this policy will be convenient or inconvenient for students. Therefore, we want to know this policy student can bring what kind of changes for our life. Next. And this is our purpose. Our purpose is to understand the frequency of using the iPads and the level of acceptance in the school. And this policy will become the main payment methods in the future. And this policy will bring what kind of changes for our life. We will try to answer this question in this presentation. Next. This is our question. First, do CNU students use the iPads? Second, the occasion for CNU students to use the iPads. The last one, the willingness of CNU students use the iPads to consume at the student restaurant. Next. And this is our methods. Following all these methods, we can understand our presentation deeply and finish it completely. Next. This is our steps. Next. And now I'm going to tell you our context. Best information of questionnaire respondents. According to our questionnaire, shown in terms of gender, female is the majority, and the university years is dominated by junior, and the department section is dominated by Department of Applied Foreign Language, and the next part will be reported by you.
Do CNU students use the iPads? From the research question, we would like to know about the opinion of CNU students who own the iPads, whether the iPads makes their life more convenient in the campus. And we also learned the following results by questionnaire. We found the result from our questionnaire. Most people have the iPads, especially the majority are female, and most of male didn't have the iPads. Next. In this case, we also understand why a small number of people didn't use the iPads. The majority of female respondents think it was harder to use the iPads while waiting for payment. In addition, most of male respondents think it is easy for them to use the cards. Next. This is our result. Next. In addition, we would like to know that if you can have a discount when you use your iPads to consume, for those who don't use the iPads, whether they want to apply for the iPads. The result was that females' willingness is higher than males. If there is a discount, it will greatly enhance their desire to apply for the iPads. However, the majority of males thought that it will enhance their willingness to apply for the iPads. This is our result. Next. According to the significance of the independent sample test, we can see that male and female choose this question have no significant difference. Next. Second, the occasions for CNU students to use the iPads. We want to know what kind of occasions are the CNU students using the iPads, the highest and lowest frequently from the questionnaire survey. Next. Most of the CNU students will use the iPads on taking transportation. The female are significantly more than male, which are taking transportation. This female is using the iPads in the beverage shop. Male's condition is the same as female, and the next part will be reported by Iris.
From this problem, we know which occasion do students use iPads. We also got a frequency of using iPads, and our research is more than that. We also want to know students are willing to deposit how much money on their iPads. From this question, female would like to deposit 100 to 200 on their iPads, and a few of female are willing to deposit 900 to 1,000 on their iPads. Male is willing to store 100 to 200 in the iPads, lesser than female. But people who is willing to store 900 to 1,000 in the iPads, male is more than female. Next. We would like to know if the students spend more time where they use their iPads and they will have more discount, whether the student will increase the amount of single deposit. The results show that female deposit this is our survey. Next. According to the significance of the independent sample test, we can see that male and female have significant difference. Next. Third, the willingness of CNU students use the iPads to consume at student restaurant? This research question is our main focus. We would like to know how many people will use the iPads to consume at student restaurant. We want to know the frequency as to the acceptance level. It's proven the iPad is really convenient and time-saving. We will get to know other issues. From this question, we understand the frequency of using iPads, and most of the students never use iPads in student restaurant. And next part will be reported by Nina.
University may limit students to use the iPads to consume at student restaurants. And we want to know the attitude of students and whether they will support it. But the results from our questionnaire show that most of students are unwilling to support it. Female are reluctant, and part of students totally disagree. Only a few of students are very willing. Also, male is reluctant to support that. A few of male totally disagree. From this questionnaire, most people are still accustomed to using cash transactions. Next. According to the significance of the independent sample test, we can see that male and female have no significant difference. Next. In addition, we see that if students use the iPads to pay more and reach certain amounts. For example, if all students use it up to 300 times within a month, and we will hold the activities of lottery, then we would like to know whether students are willing to use the iPads. The result shows that most of female are willing, but parts of male are not willing. However, students who are willing to use the iPads because of holding the activities of lottery are in the majority. Next. According to the significance of the independent sample test, we can see that male and female have significant difference. Next. In our project, we also want to know what time will students come to student restaurant to use the iPads. Most of students use the iPads in the lunchtime at student restaurants. Female use the iPads for breakfast morning, and the student use the iPads in the dinner time. And next part will be reported by Joanna.
This is our result. First, do CNU students use the iPads? From this research, we know that the majority of male and female have the iPads, and most of them are female. The minority of people don't use the iPads because females think that it is a bother to use the iPads while waiting for payment, and males think it is easy for them to lose the iPads. Next. Second, the occasions for CNU students to use the iPads. From this research, we know that CNU students will use the iPads on taking transportation, and students use the iPads to consume in the beverage shop is the least. However, we also know that female use the iPads for 3 to 4 days in a week, while male use for 1 to 2 days. In addition, we also know that male and female are willing to store $100 to $200 in their iPads. Next. Third, the willingness of CNU students use the iPads to consume at student restaurant. From our research, we also assume that we can only use iPads for consumption in the future. However, the result is that male and female don't agree that this is the only way to consumption. Most of them want to use cash for transaction. In addition, we also know that most of students use the iPads to consume at student restaurant in the lunchtime. Next. This is our reference. Next. Thank you for your attention.
Now we have a short break time for 10 minutes. The second part of our presentations is going to start 10 minutes later.
Welcome Group 6 for presentation. The topic is Singapore tourism.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of our presentation is Singapore tourism. This study aims to find affordable ways for students to travel in Singapore. By means of students' needs and their limited budget, we will design journeys suitable for students. In addition, since we went to Singapore for internship, we had experienced real Singapore and try to figure out the best ways for traveling there. The methods of this study went by observation and interviews. During the internship, we personally lived in Singapore and visited its attractions, and we interviewed some local residents. For example, one is Mr. N.J. He's a manager of the restaurant where we did our internship. He suggested that visitors have to try local foods. Another interviewee was Ms. Wang. She's unenrolled. She recommended that hostel is a good choice to save money. Our research questions: what features are there for tourism in Singapore? And how can students afford to travel in Singapore?
Now, let me introduce Singapore for you. It is in Southeast Asia and has a total land area of 720 square kilometers. There is no natural land and its rainfalls are never enough either. Therefore, 40% of water supply is imported from Malaysia. There are 3 huge water pipes at Singapore and Malaysia's national border. The weather is very humid and warm. Temperatures usually range from 20 to 35 Celsius degrees. For history and economy, modern Singapore was founded in 1819 by Stamford Raffles as a British colony. It gained independence from the UK in 1963. This is the second populous country in the world and one of the countries with lowest unemployment rate. It is famous for its rich water. For language and life, most of Singaporeans bilingually speak English and Chinese. People say that it is a garden city with green grass and flowers. For their diet, there are many delicious local dishes and exotic restaurants. As convincing in Singapore, it has convenient and cost-efficient public transport networks. There are varieties of transport modes, globally known for its great security management. This is a very safe place for tourism.
Now, let's go on some literature reviews. First, in Ms. Poon's study, it shows that tourism can play a contributing factor of economic growth of a country. Next, for tourism in Singapore, Alia said, this small country is efficient for its construction of attraction and recreational facility. Those are good for its overall leisure and life. Another review showed the beauty of Singapore. Mr. Lin shared he likes spend time with his family or friends. At Lucky at the sunset and enjoying the brand new landmarks. Now, let's talk about transportation. MRT is the fastest public transportation. There are many stops and several tourist attractions include. And the platform on the north, south, east, and west line are marked in different colors. Next, taking buses costs the trip and then review the plane. Passenger can take bus to each tourist destination. Then, there are many taxi stops at the city center and several shopping malls. Passenger will be surcharged during peak hours, including weekends, holiday, and the night on the weekdays.
Now, I'm introducing 4 categories of attractions, including study sites, museums and monuments, religious places, and nature parks. Those are most popular tourist sites, including zoos, gardens, shopping centers, famous buildings, and theme parks. For example, Universal Studio and Sentosa Resorts are my favorites. Second category is about museums and monuments. There are a lot of museums and monuments in this small country. For example, the National Singapore Museum is the oldest museum in Singapore. Its history dates back to 1849, when it was started as a section and called the Raffles Library and Museum. Third, about religious places. They have very worship places for different religions. For example, Armenian Church is the oldest Christian church in the museum in Singapore. Located at Hill Street in the museum planning area. Let me introduce the nature parks in Singapore. The Garden by the Bay is the best choice on my off days. It is a big nature park in central Singapore. Singapore government should change this country from a garden city to a city in a garden. The policy aims to develop a greenery and floral country.
After analyzing all the data in our research, we will figure out the 3 kinds of itinerary, including economic, general, and luxury levels to fit different individual needs. It depends on tourists' budget and their interest. Fine, here we go, everybody. Travel around Singapore, we have 3 kinds of choices for students. Students can pay a reasonable price to get around Singapore. Hey ladies, how can I help you?
I am a college student, and I have a tight budget under $30,000. What do you recommend for tour in Singapore?
Let's see a table. If your budget is below $30,000, you can choose an economic plan. For the accommodation, you can stay in a hostel. Its price is cheaper than hotel. About eating, local food is your best choice. Do you know this local cuisine in Singapore?
Yes, I have seen them, but I never tried them.
The first photo is kaya toast. Local people eat it for breakfast. Kaya sauce is made of sugar and coconut. Then, the second one is laksa. The coconut milk flavor is very strong. The main ingredients are eggs, fish, tofu, and shrimp. Next one is bak kut teh. It mixed with bones and traditional Chinese medicine. Sounds delicious, right?
Yes, pretty good.
When you go to Singapore, you must try its local food. In final, we will come to the features for tourism in Singapore. It is close to Taiwan and has similar cultural background with us, and it has convenient traffic and various food. For students, traveling in Singapore is affordable if they wisely control their budget by staying in hostel and having local dishes. That's all our presentation. We hope it can help you to travel there someday. Thank you for your listening.
Next, let's welcome Group 7 for presentation. The topic is Analysis in CNU Students' Behavior of Buying Breakfast.
Good afternoon, student and professor. I'm Ryan.
I'm Leo. I'm Nick.
I'm Westbrook.
I'm Michael. And thank you all for here to be in our presentation of the project. Today we are discussing the theme is Analysis in CNU Student Behavior of Buying Breakfast. Breakfast is a very important meal for everyone. The choice of breakfast habits and health are very interesting topic to discuss. Then we want to understand CNU students' eating habits of breakfast, the impacts of health of breakfast, and analyze college students' buying breakfast behavior. Next. And this is our research purpose. One is investigate college student average habits of eating breakfast. 2 is understand the choice of college student for breakfast. 3 is explore the impact of breakfast on health. Next. And this is our research question.
Here are basic information. Males are about 35% and females are about 64%. Here are the numbers of people who wrote questionnaire of each grade. 3rd grade are the most. This chart is about do you have the habit of having breakfast. As you can see, most of people have habit of having breakfast every day. This chart is about how often do you eat breakfast each month. About 68% of people eat breakfast every day.
The chart shows the proportion of male having Western breakfast reach up to 33%, but the female reach up to 17%. However, the proportion of female have Eastern breakfast reach up to 30%. This result let us feel surprising, because we saw the male more like the Eastern style than female. About the result of location, the proportion of having breakfast at school reach up to 44%. This can show that students usually have breakfast in the classroom because of the class time. Due to getting out late, there are 53% of college students will choose to have lunch directly, and because of the brown shop become popular. Many women like the type of shop, although the price is not cheap. And most students have breakfast at 7 to 9 o'clock. The proportion reach up to 82% because of the class time.
20% of female choose price and about 18% of female choose price and about 20% of male choose price and about 21% of male choose under $50 and about 18% of female choose $50 to $100. This shows that female choose higher price because of delicacy breakfast. About 68% of students choose yes and about 32% of students choose no. This shows that the boys and girls are going to consume about the environmental sanitations of breakfast shop. About 21% of male choose a la carte and about 18% of female choose combo meals. This shows that female males prefers combo meals because of large appetite.
About 39% of male and about 22% of female select the jam breakfast shop. About 10% of male and about 27% of female select the saffron breakfast shop. Because men like to have a branch of the breakfast shop, women like to have a unique breakfast shop. About 11% of male and about 22% of female care about food safety problem. About 42% of male and about 23% of female don't care about food safety problem. This shows that compared to women, men pay less attention on food safety. About 21% of male and about 31% of female choose delicious food at the expense of nutritional value. About 28% of male and about 17% of female don't choose delicious food and emphasis on nutritional value. Because men pay attention to convenience, women value tasting. This proportion of reasons not to eat breakfast. Most of students don't eat breakfast because of oversleeping.
We can easily to see that about 85% of college students believe that without eating breakfast will impact their health. Next. No one likes inconvenient things, so microwave food become our best choice. Next. Most of college students did not bring their own food containers, so disposable food containers is our best choice. Most of college students did not pay attention to what they eat, so their calories always beyond they need each day. Next. We can see that female and male are both healthy. They prefer eating many vegetables and carbohydrates in their meal every day.
This is our finding. There are 4 parts. One is reasons of not eating breakfast. Female may ignore the breakfast because of oversleeping and losing weight. Eating breakfast is everyone's habit. Female will bring their breakfast to school because of oversleeping or makeup. Boys don't eat breakfast to save money. Second is food safety. Female will worry about that the food safety will affect their health.
Third is style of breakfast. Western breakfast is mainly combo, so male can eat more. The amount of Chinese breakfast is relative not much, so females like them. Girls will choose breakfast shop because of its flavor, price, and decoration. Males only want convenience. Females choose the self-run breakfast shop because of its feature and variety. And boys only focus on convenience and fullness. Fourth is nutrition. Both boys and girls choose to eat more vegetables for their good health.
And this is our conclusion. According to the research, we know that most college students eat breakfast, but males and females choose that different breakfast. Moreover, students care more about food safety and option. Second, the latest news about food safety have become student spotlight. If the breakfast store does not pay attention to its environmental health and ingredients, students will not visit it again. And with the rising of environmental protection, the environmentalists have encouraged people to prepare food containers. And final, we hope our research may provide some ideas either for breakfast store or students to think when they choose their own food. And this is our reference. Thank you for listening.
Next, let's welcome Group 8 for presentation. The topic is the analysis of working holiday programs in Australia among CNU students.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are Group 8. Our team members have Nina, Rosie, Ellie, and Kenny. And our advisor is teacher Ina. Today we are going to talk about working holiday in Australia. Why Australia? Our content has introduction, motivation, background information, methods, results, discussion, suggestions, and conclusions.
You know, there's more and more people going to abroad for a working holiday program. Why does everyone want to go to other countries?
In my opinion, I think people want to improve their English ability.
Do you know which country is the first choice for everyone?
I think it's Australia, and I want to go to Australia as well, because I also want to improve my English ability.
Why do you want to know more about working holiday in Australia?
4 of us all have been to Singapore for working holiday. However, we want to find out more rules on working holiday in other speaking countries, just like England, New Zealand, and Ireland.
From this page, you can see Australia is the first choice for the working holiday program. That's why we are choosing Australia. And then we are going to talk about our background information. We have official data from government and airplane company.
Cumulative number of applicants, visas quota limit, financial statement, flight time, and time zone. And we managed to find out some pros and cons of Australia and some other English-speaking countries.
You can comprehend that Australia's cumulative number of applicants is much more than other English-speaking countries in this pie chart.
And the number of Australia is 100,803, but the lowest is only 150 from Ireland. Why do they have so much difference?
The data from government say there's no limit on the number of applicants for Australia's working holiday program, and other countries all have set a limit. And Ireland is a list, only can accept 400 people each year. By the way, if you really go to Australia, you don't need to prepare any financial statement. But don't forget to bring a living expenses for the first month, because you won't get a salary in the beginning.
That is same as when we just got into Singapore. We couldn't get any salary for our first month, only get a month. No, it's not true. Just something really cheap. That's why we follow some blogs sharing working holiday experience with everyone. In their opinion, cooking by yourself is cheaper than eating out.
It shows that living expenses in Australia per month is much way lower than all the other countries.
And next page, we are going to tell you about the flight time. You can tell from this line chart. The flight time of Australia is the shortest, only 10 hours. But wait, how did you know that?
Oh, because I have been to these countries personally. No, I'm just kidding. I just got all this information through the airplane company. But I've really been to Canada before. It was very painful to sit there over 16 hours.
Okay, I see. So, on the other hand, we managed to find out the jet lag difference between Canada and Taiwan is the longest, 13 hours. But between Australia and Taiwan is the least, only 3 hours.
So, if you want to FaceTime with your partner, you don't need to worry about they are sleeping or not.
But how about someone who don't have a partner?
Okay, that is not important. Back to our research. We did a survey on our school's foreign language students. Most of them are first grade to junior, and a little bit of a senior that would be interested in going to Australia for a working holiday program.
And the way we use is quantitative research. We questioned 150 participants.
Here are the questions in the questionnaire, and we choose 5 main questions to share with you. Will you choose Australia as your choice for working holiday? Why would you choose Australia as your working holiday country?
What kind of job would you choose in Australia? What's your purpose for choosing this as your job? And what's your reason for not choosing Australia as your working holiday country?
Let's take a look at our result. From the survey, it shows there 73% people are willing to go to Australia for working holiday program.
And 88 of them choose Australia because of natural ecosystems.
Next, there are 5 reasons they don't want to go to Australia. Don't have financial support, don't understand Australia, have language barrier, have fear of difficulties, and don't have work experience.
And then, let's go through our discussion. You can see there are 73% people are interested to go to Australia.
We also researched why people choose Australia as their working holiday country.
From our survey, it showed there's 22 people pick the cost of living expenses, 25 people pick the jet lag, and 34 people pick the weather.
Then, most of them like the natural ecosystems of Australia.
Then among them, they like to choose working in hotel and restaurant to be their job. Both of them have 36%, 5 is 20%, and the petrol is the least, only 8%.
Of course, we also found out the reasons why they chose these 2 are because they want to increase English ability, work experience, and be independent.
But we still can see there is a small part of them don't want to go. 21 people choose don't have financial support. 18 people choose don't understand Australia. These 2 are the biggest problem for them.
For this situation, we have some suggestions for them. If government is willing to give some allowance for these people, do you think they will change their mind?
That's a good idea. In the beginning, there are 40 people are not interested in working holiday program. If they could get allowance from this pie chart, you will see there are 27 of them will change their mind.
On the other hand, after listening to a speech about Australia's working holiday program, the amount will get higher too. So, the amount of competitors is already this much. What are you still waiting for?
if you want to improve your English ability,
work experience and independence ability. Hurry up when you are still young. Thanks for your listening.
Finally, let's welcome the group of graduation performers for presentation. Their title of their play is Perfect Pitch at C and U.
Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm Eugenia.
I'm Daniel. We appreciate all the good work from the 2017 graduation play. And our coaches and supervisors are Teacher Kelly and Gary.
Now, let's start with the multimedia photographer and assistant producer.
Hello, I'm Tracy. I thank you for all my new teammates. This is our job. My job is including set out and maintain Facebook profile. And this is a intermediate. And this is our rehearsal. And now I work with media company, and make DVD.
Next is the publicity and promotion, general secretary, script clerk, and stage direction assistant team.
My main job is design the poster.
I design the flyers and invitation card.
And our TV.
I'm responsible for the electronic signature.
I am a script clerk and stage direction assistant, and my job is to record the time.
And my job is recording the time.
We complete the graduation portfolio, translate the script into Chinese.
We made a present subtitles on screen, record meeting minutes, create the admission ticket.
The third team is sound and lighting team.
And my job is to connect the company to work for music and videos, and arrange meeting with two companies and sign the contract. And finally is to select and edit the music.
My job is extension core control the noise of the microphone up and down, and pay attention to the screen.
My job is control the content up and down.
Next is the costume makeup team.
We are costume and makeup. This is our job assignment for the main cast. And our job is to control our budget. This is our fitting rooms. Thank you.
The fifth team is press team.
我们是道具组，然后我是第一组的组长。然后我们负责背景有两个，一个是校园，一个是宿舍。
然后这个校园有那个 CNU 的招牌，然后我们是用纸跟不同的颜料去制作。
然后我们宿舍男生宿舍是搞怪的那个路线，然后女生是 rock。
然后这是一间老旧然后生意不好的酒吧。然后这是贝卡打工的地方。我们的背景是用垃圾袋跟纸做成的。
我们使用很多色纸，然后做很多的瓶子来做装饰。
然后我们支撑是用土墙去固定。然后这是社团教室。
这是第二幕第二集。
用在这里。
这个主要是用大量的全开黄色纸做底，然后其他是用手绘的。
这是第4幕男团的巴士，那也是最重要的一幕。那我们利用纸箱，然后用全开的黄纸去把它贴上来呈现。
车头的部分我们用纸箱叠起来，涂上红色颜料，再加点装饰。
真女团巴士，我们利用颜料，然后去刷它，让它有破旧的感觉。这是我们的制作过程。
Next is the acting crew, singing and dancing coaches team.
We are acting crews, and this is Bella's members, and there is Troublemakers members. And the following are our rehearsal and performance question and solution for all students. And I'm Becca.
I'm Jesse.
I'm Fanny. I'm Cynthia Rose. I'm Aubrey. I'm Stacy.
I'm Gail.
I'm Bumper.
I'm Secret.
I'm Victoria.
I'm Chloe.
I'm Sharon.
I'm Coleo. I'm Henji. I'm Benji. I'm Benji.
我觉得当演员也是一件很好玩的事情，然后就是大家都觉得，然后就是，对啊，我讲中文，然后就是当演员的时候，台词就尽量先背熟，然后我们就是跟对手的语气还有情绪这样子，以上，然后选指导老师。
很重要哦。然后谢谢 Gary， 谢谢 Kelly。
对，谢谢 Kelly。
I'm Secret, and she is Victoria. We're very glad to have an opportunity to be a host. However, we have some problem in writing script and facial expression, but we discuss each other and solve our problems.
如果下一届就是学弟妹如果有接触公演是有唱歌部分的话，那这边就是有2点建议，就是一点就是如果你是开放演员自己选歌曲的话，那务必提醒演员就是他选择歌曲就是要自己能，就是不是自己喜欢，可是他没办法驾驭的，就是蛮多人有遇到这个问题，所以就是尽量选自己是可以驾驭这首歌。那他第2点建议就是表演当天我们一定要准备 B 方案，因为你不知道就是那个演员当天的那个喉咙状况或是身体状况，所以一定要准备 B 方案。那 B 方案可能就是事先的录音，或是就直接是那个歌曲的原声带这样子，对。
我是舞蹈组的，我是 Sharon。We did a lot of dance practice. It's a little different from the movie. Not only actors but also other good members helps. I think the problem we need to improve is the practice time. All group members need to be on time. and attitude of practice and controlling attendance。然后跟指导老师沟通也很重要。然后就是希望学弟妹加油，谢谢。
And then is the Deputy State Manager and Playwright Deputy Executive Director.
大家好，我是这次公演的导演兼演员。然后我们这次主要我负责部分就是舞台上的走位指导，还有演员部分的歌舞。然后觉得如果在公演的话，一开始的时候就应该要先决定好那个剧本，还有你之后要怎么排演之类的，不要就是到半个学期过去之后还在演别的练习的戏。所以我觉得这个比较重要，因为你有更多的时间可以去准备，然后准备你的公演，不然就是临时，就是到后半学期可能临时都在那边改东改西的，有些甚至是在快公演前的时候还在那边改，所以我觉得这方面我们应该可以再改进一下，然后希望之后的学弟妹也可以改进，然后加油。
大家好，我是编剧和执行舞台总监。然后在这部分呢，就是要写剧本，这是很重要的事情。然后跟老师沟通也是非常的重要，可能会发生冲突之类的东西，所以大家自己要去调和。然后执行舞台总监的部分的话，就是可能要做一些跟演员沟通或者其他组的沟通，然后调整他们的位置和他们的进度。谢谢。
我是执秘兼财务，然后你们财务的时候一定要去看前一届怎么打的，不然你们就会一直拖。然后我还有负责协调其他组员跟指导老师之间的沟通，一定要沟通好。
大家好，我是公演的总监。总监的位置呢，就是什么事情都要做，尤其是跟老师还有各组的沟通很重要。沟通的不好，就是问题很多，还有表演当天问题也很多，因为突然有什么加戏什么的，我们都不知道，所以沟通很重要。另外，我还要讲。我们谢幕穿学士服，我觉得是一件很正确的事，因为来看的人都觉得很感动、很温馨，所以我不懂这到底有什么问题。所以我觉得可以建议一下学弟妹，就是以后要公演的人，这是你们公演，不是老师的，请坚持自己想做的，谢谢。
Finally, Tracy will conclude our presentation.
After the show, Teacher Kelly and Gary said we do a good job. And very thank you for your listening.
Listening.
Now, our presentation has been finished. We would like to invite our judges to say some words. First, let's welcome Professor Ina Cho.
So first I want to congratulate
So first, congratulations for everyone because you actually finished your graduation project, no matter for the performance group or for the project part. I think that's a great step for for your future career. So congratulations. Okay. And now we are going to give a very general advices. This is a graduation project, so it's not like just a simple presentation. So I'm going to give some very general, simple advices, and then Jana will give a kind of research method suggestion, and Gary will make the ending. Okay. So first, I think for most of you actually work hard for your project. But there are some advices I would like to turn to you. First is the time management, because sometimes I found that some group may have concentrate in one part, but they don't have enough time to introduce your result or findings. So I think it's very important to actually manage which part you want to give much more detail, and which part you want to actually just skip, because time is quite limited. So you need to give your audience kind of outline of what you are going to do, why you are going to do a lot. So second, I want to actually give a little bit a suggestion about the pronunciation, because some students you might be afraid of your accent. You might think you have accent, but actually it's fine. As long as you pronounce accurately, for each word, it doesn't matter if you have Indian accent, Singapore accent, you speak English, or you have an Australian accent, it's fine, because we are Taiwanese, of course we have Taiwanese accent, so be confident about what you are going to produce, because as long as the word has been said accurately. But one important part is, in order to pronounce it accurately, you need to actually practice, because through practicing, you can actually be familiar with the word you're going to say, and that's how you're going to become confident. Because confidence will not come from nothing. You need to be familiar with what you're going to say, and also practice, make perfect. So hope in the future you can practice what you are going to do, for your job or for your life, for your personal relationship. You can work hard on the inside, and also you practice a lot, maybe you like perfect. Okay, thank you.
Next, let's welcome Professor Joanna.
Good afternoon, class and students. This is Joanna. And so first of all, congratulations. You have done this good job, and it's your graduation requirement. I assume that each group probably would expect to listen to some comments. So I think I would briefly give you my personal comments. Look at the overview of the topics, and then we find that among the A groups, we have as many as 5 groups of students with the topics related to CNU students, which means that you are concerned about what's going on here in this school, and you want to explore some facts about this department of the school. And also group 1 talking about career, group 2 talking about practical training, and this group 1 and 4 focus on the DAF students, and 5, 7, and 8 you want to explore something about CNU students. So I think my comments for that is I'm paying attention to the participants, or we say subjects, that how do you select the subjects and how many subjects you selected in order to find out what's going on here in CNU. so that you can come up here to tell people that, okay, CNU students like this, CNU students do not do that. But unfortunately, I don't see very clear sample selection methods. Like, for example, I only figure out group A with 150 samples, right? And at group 4, you reported you have questionnaire for 151. But the other groups I didn't find out how many subjects you go interview or how many subjects you go for the questionnaire and who are they. I mean, who are they means that if you want to generalize your results to all the CNU, like CNU students breakfast, CNU students using iPads, probably you need to include your subjects from every colleges or every departments. If you want to do very big, you probably need to have subjects from every departments so that you can come up here and say loudly that here's our CNU students' attitude or here are CNU students' behaviors. So this is my suggestion. And for group 3 is a broader design, is a more complicated design of educational issue. So working on parents, all right. And I think it's a very complete design with huge data of participants. There are as many as 550 something questionnaires. So I think it's quite amazing. 2 groups, group 5 and 7. Let me see, sorry. We have one with the foreigners, business stuff, group 2, right? And we also have a Singapore group in group 6, Singapore tourism. So these 2 groups with a little bit different orientation, all right? And I will start from group 2. Maybe I start from group 1, okay? Group 1, you have a good design, I think, and of your research, and you have good PPT. Unfortunately, I didn't see the conclusion. So at the end of your presentation, I was expected to, see how you summarize your findings, but I didn't see the conclusion. But your design and your PPT are great. For the group 2, I think this topic is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to what you have found. And I think you are group 2, the challenges and rewards by foreigners with their business. I think it's more like an interview reports. So what I'm expecting is to listen to the stories from those 3 owners to tell us what is their challenges, their difficulties, detailing or touching or more thoroughly. And and especially maybe their rewards. However, you kind of like maybe because of the time limit, you did not really put much emphasis on these findings. Instead of that, you reported with some time reported the location of the shop and the decoration, the menu. Maybe I would expect more on the personal story, okay, as the findings. Thank you. So this is group 2. Group 3, like I say, is a very complicated, a little bit complicated, and is a big scope, and it's good design, good analysis, and huge data collection. All right. For the group 4, is my group, so I probably say a little bit be more conservative. I think the message is clear. However, the PPT and pronunciation need to be improved. All right. And for the 5, the group 5 working with CNU students and iPads, and I think you have done thorough data analysis. You compare your statistic data and try to find meanings, which is very good. The same problem is about sample selection. So I didn't see how many participants and from what departments that you have recruited in order to find out these facts to be able to generalize to all the CNU students. For the group 6, you reported us with the Singapore tourist options, and it's a different orientation and However, I was expecting while you were doing the report that you could tell us some more detailed or more special information from the perspectives of private guides. Because I kind of know that you were those students who have been to Singapore for internship. So probably you have some personal 私人景点或私人的一些建议 instead of the information that we can find from tour books. So that's my expectation and suggestion. And group 7, also the sample selection, and you analyze different issues by male and female, which might be interesting. Female breakfast, male breakfast preference. However, I was wondering if the sample of the female sample of male are equivalent. In other words, if you have like 70 students, girls, filling out your questionnaire, you only have 20 male students filling out your questionnaire, it is not really fair to tell us that male prefer this and female of CNU prefer this. All right, so this is also the issue of sample selection and generalization. All right, and the final group is the working holiday. And I admire your presentation style. You have interaction, dialogue, and you have good PPT. And you also reported us with your number of the participants. But I wish that these are not focusing only on our department. So finally, I would like to say that you all have passion, you have concern about CNU, about our department, and which is good that you want to find out something that can bring the feedback to the chairperson, to the teachers here. But if you could be more carefully by selecting people from different departments or at least different schools, then you are finding your results will be more objective and representative. All right, so these are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Chen.
Then, let's welcome Professor Gary Dewar.
Good afternoon. How y'all doing today? I want to say thank you for everybody. I know getting up on stage here today, making a presentation, or getting up on stage in the auditorium last month for your senior performance, it takes, maybe it takes a nervous, takes a lot of work, but I think you all did a good job. So just getting up here and on stage, that's a big part of it right there. So I want to say thank you for, give yourself credit for that. You deserve credit. It's not really easy to get up and speak English or speak another language. And I know it's been a lot of hard work since last year it started. Your presentations, your work on the performance. I know you put a lot of time in and everything. And again, give yourself a hand. Oh, come on. You guys deserve a lot of big hand. And then I want to say, well, guess what? It's all over. It's over. It's over. You are free. Until the grades come out. Enjoy your time. You did a lot of hard work, so I want to say thank you to everybody. Thank you.
We appreciate your advice and encouragements from our judges. And it's the end of the AFL 103 class graduation project presentation. Thank you for your participation.
Thank you for your presentation, including your sharing, the information sharing with us. And all of you are hardworking in your project composition. And I sincerely express my gratitude to the judges, for your comments on students' performance. I think it's very valuable for underclassmen. Okay, since you are going to prepare your research design and your topics, I think it's very important for you, okay, to audit your upperclassmen's paper presentation. Thank you.